Hi everyone, welcome to the first ever video of my brand new channel, Barbie Talks Environment. My name is Barbara Šošterić and I am a third-year Global Sustainability Science student at Utrecht University. The goal of this channel for me is to try to spread information about the environment and sustainability to everyday people and question things that the media itself is posting about the environment. So without further ado, before we get into the video, I would like to invite you to please subscribe and like, as well as follow me on Instagram. So we will begin this channel by doing a short series of 5 videos, each explaining one of the controversial topics of sustainability. So my series is called The Most Controversial Topics of Sustainability. And the first one that we're going to be talking about today is overpopulation versus population decline, and which one we should believe. So I'm sure, like everybody, you have already heard the news that our planet is becoming increasingly overpopulated and that large population growth over time is in itself very unsustainable for our planet, because the more people you have on the planet, obviously the more resources you will use, and that will eventually lead to a collapse. So scientists like David Attenborough, Jane Goodall, and even people like Bill Mayer and Prince Charles have openly spoken about this issue. However, on the other hand, people like Elon Musk, Jordan Peterson, even US Senator J.D. Vance have talked about a different issue, and that is population decline. They believe that falling birth rates and aging populations will have a negative impact on the economic stability of countries, innovation, and overall sustainability of societies. Of course, online you can find statistical evidence to support both claims, so this in itself is already a big controversial topic and has a lot of discourse online. So we're gonna deep dive into what I want to apply towards this topic. So who should we believe when it comes to our populations? Should we believe that there is a population increase or decrease? Well, the truth is, it is important to consider both. So if there is a population increase, if there is overpopulation, over time, the human species will use too much food, to create too much waste, use too many resources, and also use too much fuel. And this in itself will eventually lead to an extinction. But on the other hand, we all know that if we do not create enough life, if there are not enough young people for the next generation, the human species will also go extinct. So I want to address this topic considering both sides as equal urgency and importance. So I don't want to start this video off by just bumming everybody out, but it is important to then address what the solution actually is. Well, it's quite logical to everybody, of course. We need to keep the population at a certain level of stability. So not too high to overburden our planet's resources, but also not too low to cause economic instability or social instability for that matter. But how do I think we can achieve this? Well, it is through the Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs. Now, for those of you who don't know, the SDGs are essentially 17 global goals established by the United Nations back in 2015 for the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. And these goals are mainly designed to address the most pressing challenges facing the world. So inequality, climate change, poverty, environmental degradation, justice, peace, etc. And each goal has specific targets and indicators to measure progress, aiming to create a better and more sustainable future for everybody up till 2030, or at least the goal is to 2030. And in this video, I want to focus on 3 of these SDGs that I think very much relate to this problem, this discourse, and that is SDG 1, SDG 2, and SDG 8. SDG 1 is about reducing poverty, and SDG 2 is about zero hunger. So reducing poverty and hunger will naturally lead people to live more economically stable and live a more privileged lifestyle. However, it is known that in developed countries, people have significantly less children than in developing countries. And this can either be because in developing countries there are either religious reasons or higher child mortality rates or simply education. But the main point is, and the main fact is, in developed countries, there are much less children per family than in developing countries. When a developed country has too big of a population, it increases taxes and the cost of living and creates a bigger pressure on the environment due to more resources needed, making it more difficult for people to be able to afford having families, which then leads to a population decrease. And developing countries experience high birth rates, and this leads to an issue of providing enough food for everybody in a developing country where the system isn't the same, as well as putting pressure on the healthcare system. So the goal is to try to help developing countries in any shape or form we can, whether it is financially or helping them with food security or healthcare or, of course, family planning services. And with developed countries, it is important to create more job opportunities for people with, of course, better pay so that people could be able to afford having children. And at the same time, create political agreements and economical agreements in general that will not lead a country into debt, because debt is also an issue that deeply affects people's lives and sort of always stunts and delays their building up to having a family. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that both developing and developed countries need to work together to try to get to this level of economic stability. And basically, they need to change the way their economies work and are built. And so developed and developing countries have to work together to make this work and to make this a reality. They need to create policies that bridge the gap between high population growth and population decline. And in developed nations especially, providing affordable living conditions, job security, smaller taxes can encourage people to start families. Meanwhile, in developing countries, simply offering better options of healthcare and family planning services and better access to food can make a big difference. So these are sort of things that if we take into consideration, hopefully we can get to this sort of stabilized area where neither threat is really possible. Of course, we don't know how the world will change over time, so this is very hypothetical, but I do think this is how we need to look at it. Ultimately, by addressing root causes of population disparities, can we truly then create a planet that is sustainable to live on, and we can truly then understand root problems of both developing and developed countries and whether or not their issues would be able to translate globally. So if they are both addressed, then I don't see a reason for overpopulation or population decline to occur. So that's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching this very first video of my series. And if you have any comments or suggestions, please let me know down below. You can also DM me on Instagram, of course. And I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye!